As some of you may be aware, the creator of Dragon Ball Z has passed away, and of course, losers wanted engagement bait and just wanted to seek attention by complaining about how black people were depicted in the manga and in the anime.
It has not even been 24 hours since the news broke, but people are already canceling Akira Toriyama because he was racist. There are people on Twitter saying that even though they like Dragon Ball, they cannot deny he was racist because of how he drew black people in the original manga and anime. Take a look at Commander Black, for example. He was the first prominent black character in Dragon Ball, and this is how Akira Toriyama drew him. They're also bringing up Mr. Popo, arguably the most controversial looking character in Dragon Ball. And it's not just those two characters, there are so many other examples to choose from. Now, this isn't the first time that Akira Toriyama has been dragged for how he drew black people, but ever since the news broke that he passed away, people want to bring this up again. Now, this whole conversation got reignited because of this Twitter user. I wasn't able to grab screenshots of what he said because his account got suspended, but it does beg the question, was Akira Toriyama racist, and if he was, did he learn from his mistakes? People on Twitter are saying that he definitely did learn from his mistakes. Take a look at this character right here. Here are other examples. But this Twitter user pointed out that he's barely involved in the illustrations of characters. So it's because of that he doesn't get credit for these characters, as well as these new characters. But I do want to ask you guys, how do you feel about Akira Toriyama drawing black people like that? Do you think he did it because he was racist? Or do you think he drew them like that because that's how everyone else drew them back in the day and he was ignorant at the time? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, make sure to share this with friends and give me a follow.
And it was stupid for them to do. But what if I told you there was an even dumber person out there wanting to educate everyone on why black people, such as myself, enjoy anime and manga, and yes, it's very stupid. But let's listen to him, because maybe he has informative information that could help us all understand why people like me enjoy overpowered cartoon characters beating each other.
Y'all ever wonder why black folks love anime so much? What if I told you that there's a connection between West, North, East Africans, and East Asians?
Fuck me. Why? No, that's not it. It's not it at all. I hate to bear the lead so fast, but you know why I like anime and manga? It's because of people like him, and people like him, and people like him, and people like them, and women like her. And you know who this is? This woman is regarded as either, and I'm sorry if I butcher this, the princess or the queen of anime. And if she's the princess, she should be the queen. And if she's the queen, she should be the goddess. Because of the great stories and characters she's brought in to all of anime and manga. It ain't got nothing to do with the history and the culture of the Indians and the Africans and whatever you said. Also, people like this. It is not whatever that dude just said. And whatever he says further will just make my head itch. Because it's a bunch of people trying so hard to create a think piece for no reason. Other than they are bored. And they are bored to a worthless degree. And I wish it would stop, but it'll never stop. But I'm willing to keep hearing them out.
However, my focus will be primarily Japan today because we're talking about anime.
Okay.
Starting with the Japanese language.
Oh.
Every word in Japan pretty much ends in a vowel.
Okay.
Niger-Congo languages follows the same rules as every word pretty much ends in a vowel.
Okay.
Did you know that Tokyo, the capital of Japan, used to be called Edo?
I do not know that.
Surprisingly, the capital of Nigeria is also called Edo.
I did not know that. But what does that have to do with me, a black person, liking anime?
If we compare the Japanese language and the Yoruba language, a Niger-Congo language, we will find that there are many similarities between them, and not just similarities, but same word meaning.
Oh, so interesting.
The same goes for the Igbo language. When I first heard this, I actually didn't believe it.
Oh.
I heard it by the great sage Credo Mutwa.
I don't believe it, nor do I care. Because what does it have to do? What does it have to do with me liking anime? Get to that point.
A Zulu medicine doctor. He is famous for his stories, so he was invited to Japan to share at a convention some of the stories which he has successfully kept and passed down. And his wife had left the hotel to go order food, and the local people pretty much only spoke their native language.
Oh.
He asked her how was she able to successfully order food, and she said she just spoke to them in her language.
That's so
and they
interesting.
Understood, and she understood them. I didn't believe it.
Oh
But now
my.
I see why.
Oh.
His wife is not Japanese, by the way. She's an African woman.
Oh. Oh.
Now look at one of the early depictions of Buddha.
Oh.
From around 700 AD in Thailand.
Wow.
You will see the negroid features that this statue has. It's very clear
I'm offended by what he just said. I am not a negroid.
and evident. Now, if we compare architecture, we find no different. If you take a look at this pyramid found in Cambodia, it looks exactly like the pyramid of Zoser in Egypt, right? Or Kemet.
Wow.
Right? I won't say exactly because, of course, they use different materials because of the environment, the climate around them.
Somebody to say, I'm genuinely curious. Why do we black folks like anime? It ain't because of nothing so far. You know why black people like anime? Because it's a bunch of grown or teenage kids with overpowered antics beating each other. That's it. It's cartoon characters beating each other or going on a journey because for some reason a 10-year-old being able to be old enough to travel an entire country and capture animals seems to be enjoyable enough. Nothing he said is anything lined up into liking anime. However, everything I just said lines up perfectly. Being entertained, good storytelling, great characters, a little bit of fan service. Overall, it's fun to watch and read and play video game versions of, unless it's a fighting game nowadays, because the fighting games now suck. The history and the pyramids of Dojaya or Giza, or wives being African, or languages matching up, none of this adds. But because people want to feel so important, they gotta spew word salad like this.
But the style is the exact same, pretty much. Now, before we get more into architecture, right, we find that the military leaders in Japan, they were called shogun, right? It was a powerful title that they issued military leaders. We find that
Now I gotta learn about the army and the military in order to understand why I love anime. Like, what does the military have to do with any of this? I'd serve crack before I served the Japanese government, but what does that have to do with me liking anime? Oh, and if you thought that the 2 minutes and 20 seconds was bad, we got a 10-minute dissertation to go through. Because for some reason, part 1 was so brain dead, we gotta go through part 2.
on the black Japanese. So we're going to go into further why Africans love anime so much, because it's bigger than just language similarities.
I believe it has nothing to do with language similarities because I do not know one lick of Japanese other than arigatou gozaimasu. So it can't be anything to do with the language barrier, nor does it have to do with the history you just spouted, nor anything else you could come up with.
I'm talking about stories that has been passed down in African tribes for centuries.
Name me 3 stories where a 10-year-old is the right coming of age that they could travel the entire continent, country, whatever you want to call it, of Africa and capture animals and have them battle in tournament style to win a trophy against grown adults.
Okay, that we find in very common, very popular animes such as Naruto and Dragon Ball Z. Okay, so stay tuned, listen all the way to the end so you can receive all of the knowledge. So the beginning of the shinobi world as we know it, it started with this extraterrestrial being, Quaker, who, as you guys seen, came as like a falling star to the earth. And now when she came to the earth, she met humans who she thought was primitive for our way of war and causing pain upon each other. Because Quaker was disgusted with our ways, she decided to use her power along with the sacred tree on our land and the moon's power, and combining these elements, she put the people of the earth in what they call the infinite Tsukuyomi, which is a visual jutsu that pretty much puts you into an infinite dream. And this is what the crime scene looks like. After this, she has 2 sons, Hogoromo and Hamura, who figures out what she was doing from a toad, actually, because they know that the serpents hold wisdom. But anyway, the toad tells them what their mother was doing, and the older brother, Hagoromo decides that he wants to stop their mother, and his younger brother Hamura sides with him in doing so.
Oh.
All-powerful Quega then summoned the Ten Tails from the sacred tree, which caused a battle that lasted months.
Oh.
Hagoromo and his younger brother came out of the battle successful.
First of all, even though I have not watched a lick of Naruto, I know you pronouncing all of these names wrong. I'm willing to bet it all. You are pronouncing all of this wrong.
And Hamura, the younger brother, decided to side with his mom, becoming the moon, right? You'll hear a lot of conspiracies in the spiritual community that the moon is a watch station.
I'm sorry, but what spiritual community is going to make me like anime? None of them. So you might be telling me all of this great history of Naruto and how it might correlate. What does that have to do with me like an anime?
Because it is believed to be artificial, right? Because the moon is kind of hollow, right? NASA had sent a projectile into the moon, and they said it rung like a bell for, I think, a couple hours, they said. So it's hollowed out, and also its position to the earth is so perfect that they've never quite seen a satellite, a natural satellite, which is what they call moons, in that position relative to its host planet.
Oh.
Digressing from the science, Hagoromo then splits the Ten Tails after he wins the battle with his younger brother and scatters them across the world. And him and, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 followers. Okay, remember that number. Him and 8 followers goes around the world teaching what they call ninshu,
Buddy
or
was
ninja
doing
arts.
a little bit too much
the shinobi
yapping.
arts of cultivating and manipulating chakra in order to perform different kinds of jutsu, such as taijutsu, which is fighting, ninjutsu, which is summoning different kind of elements, and then you have genjutsu, which is the visual arts.
So what is
the
this
mention
have to
of
do?
chakra and energy?
The Pepsi Man? What? Why is the Pepsi Man here? And what, class, does this have to do with me liking anime? I'm not seeing a correlation yet.
Alone should already let you know that you're dealing with African science. After those 8 great sages went around teaching
I think I'm just dealing with the talk no jutsu at this point.
ninshu to the common folks of the land, then they formed their different villages and spread it out, as you can see. Now, relating all of this to reality and the African tribal stories, which has been kept for centuries, okay? I'm going to read now from a Dogon elder, okay? This book was taken from the reports of Marcel Griol, who dwelt among the Dogon for a little bit over a century, okay? And the elder Ogotomeli told Marcel Griol about their 8 Numo.
He is hurting me with these accents. You are doing a disservice to everybody, the Japanese and the Africans.
Ancestors, okay? And these Numo beings, they're said to be, let's read, okay? The earth and the normal reproductive cycle resulted in the birth of twins. 2 beings were thus formed. God created them like water. They were green in color, half human beings and half serpents. From the head to the loins, they were human. Below that, they were serpents. Okay? So we see they were half human being and half serpents. Okay? Now, the story of the 8 Numo ancestor is basically the story of the fallen angels. Okay? It was 9 of the fallen angels. It's the same story. They took the knowledge of the heavens and they brought it down and they taught the man to integrate it with man. Okay? It's the same story that we find here. Okay? And these angel beings are just extraterrestrial beings. Okay? Now, ancestors been saying this. Now, it says, because the reason why the Numo came to earth is because they could not follow the rules and regulation of heaven. Okay? It says, the first and second ancestors who incidentally had already broken the rule about separation.
I gotta skip some of this because you boring the ever-loving hell out of me.
Useful tools.
What does it got to do?
Of what we call the heavens, okay? Which is basically just another planet, another living abode out there. We find the same story in Sumeria amongst the Sumerians, okay? The fallen angels are just called Kalu in Sumeria, okay? It's, look, again, 7 of them who taught mankind the arts of civilization. You will notice they all...
For all that, you could say Sonic the Hedgehog's entire storyline of the 7 Chaos Emeralds is based on whatever African mythology you bringing up, because he got 7 Chaos Emeralds and you got 7 layers of bullshit in front of my face right now. What does this have to do with anything?
They hold these interesting
I'm
bags.
skipping.
Okay?
I gotta
Nagas,
skip.
or the serpents in Buddhism, right?
I gotta skip. I gotta keep skipping.
All comes from our ancestors. Then we have Nua and Fushi, right? You'll see how their tails are intertwined in China. It says
there's a whole bunch of
yapping. They went around the world teaching ninshu. I know you know who Goku is, a lot of you, right? There's 7 Dragon Balls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? Once you round up all 7, which is scattered around the world, right? Like the sage of the 6 paths from Naruto, him and remember the 8 people, it was 8 of them, him included. They went around the world teaching ninshu, the shinobi arts, right? When you gather the 7 Dragon Balls, you can summon this flying serpent, right? This great serpent right here that will grant you any wish. Then we find Goku was not from Earth, but from planet Vegeta. He was actually sent to Earth by his parents to escape the destruction of his home planet. And him and his people, they were advanced warriors, okay? Stronger and greater than the people of Earth. What I said,
buddy,
for today, folks.
That's it for today. Oh no. You are not gonna sit here and be like, you just gave word. Wait, no, I'm actually heated. He just gave all the word salad in the world and never explained anything. He just gave a history lesson and was like, yo, thanks for watching it. Like, huh? I need correlation. I need antics. I need something. You just word salad for nothing. And for some reason thought, this is going to be a great dissertation. This is going to prove to everybody why black people love anime. If anything, this made me start hating anime. Because if it's that boring, I don't want to watch it anymore. If it's that boring, it's no need for me to watch it. Because how could you want to explain why black people like anime and do it the least entertaining way possible? Let me help you out here. You know why black people might like this show? Because it's a bunch of people whooping ass on a routine basis. Hold on, let me go to the next one. You know why a lot of black people like this anime? Is because they grew up with this one. And this kid, for almost damn near 30 years, has been a mascot for believing in yourself no matter how much you fail, and he's failed a lot. Ultimately to the point where he finally won and everybody's satisfied now. Let me see. Now, I never watched this, but I can respect the GOAT for all the work he put in to having this be a cult classic amongst everybody. Like, this is a classic. No matter how much you want to sit here and pretend you care about being black and get mad at a guy depicting black people a way you didn't like, even though it was kind of confirmed that wasn't the case and you all just got in your damn fifis about it. It's an overall damn shame that you operate in a means of wanting to be seen so much. As I already said, this is probably the beacon of what it means to be a part of a fantasy. It could be right up there with that trash Sailor Moon that a lot of people like. But guess what? Sailor Moon sucks. And this is the overall thing everybody should be watching. And as I said earlier, if you are somebody who wants to see more representation or respect to women in all sorts of spaces, especially in the anime space, this woman is regarded as the goddess or queen of anime or fantasy, whatever the title is. She's regarded as the best because of all the characters and the stories she put in. And if you're someone who likes overall genocide, Attack on Titan is your place. There's a lot there that people enjoy that has zero to do with African history lining up with Japanese mythology and vice versa. What I'm gonna need people to do is stop the stupid ass fucking games of wanting to be seen and wanting to be lined up as if you're so important, because you're not. Sit your ass down, get on Crunchyroll, and enjoy some anime. If you're a sick individual who wants to download horsecock, you're weird and you're always gonna be weird, and you being a size queen has nothing to do with it, you petulant fucking freak. Subscribe to the channel. I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.